We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Lamed Amud Aleph in Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 130a. This is the beginning of the 19th parak. Rabbi Eliezer Demila. Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Rabbi Eliezer says, "Im lo hevi kli me'erev Shabbos." If he didn't bring the utensil from before Shabbos, mevio b'Shabbos megula. He should bring it in the open on Shabbos. He should violate Shabbos. Uvisakana, but if it's a time of danger, mechaseo al pi edim. He should cover it up through edim. Rashi explains. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Mlohevi Kli Izemel Lamul Asatinok. We're talking here specifically about the knife that is used for bris milah. So if he didn't have the knife in the location where the bris milah is going to be from Erev Shabbos, then he should bring it on Shabbos in the open. V'koya masnisin de pirkin de la'el. This is following up on the mission in the last parak, the Salak Mineh, which we just concluded with, V'chol tzarchei milah osin b'Shabbos. The Mishnah said that all tzarchei milah can be done on Shabbos. Megula b'fnei hakol. He has to bring it in the open that everyone should see he's carrying on Shabbos for this mitzvah. The Gemara will explain why he needs to do it in public. But if it's a time of sakana where the non-Jews are making a gezerah against bris milah, so then then he should have witnesses that know that he's bringing the izemel of mitzvah, the izemel that's being used for the bris milah, and that way they won't suspect him of carrying on Shabbos. V'yod Amar Rebbe Lazar, and Rebbe Lazar says further, Karsim eitzim lasos pechamin lasos kli barzel. You're even allowed to cut wood on Shabbos to make the coals which are going to be used in fashioning the metal which is going to be used for the milah. In other words, even preparation for the mitzvah of milah can be done on Shabbos if need be. Klal Amar Rabbi Akiva, but Rabbi Akiva has a rule. Rabbi Akiva is arguing with Rebbe Lazar. Kol malacha she'efshar la'asosa me'erev Shabbos. If there was malacha that could have been done before Shabbos, eina doches ha-Shabbos, that is not doches Shabbos. U'milah she'i efshar la'asosa me'erev Shabbos, but things like the milah itself, if it's the 8th day, so it couldn't have been done before Shabbos, doches ha-Shabbos, that is doches Shabbos. Rashi here says, Klal Amar Rabbi Akiva nechlek al Rabbi Eliezer b'machshirei mitzvah. He's arguing on Rabbi Eliezer when it comes to preparations for the mitzvah, she'ein dochen hoel ve'efshar la'asos me'erev Shabbos, that preparations for the mitzvah are not doches Shabbos because they could have been done before Shabbos. V'she'i efshar la'asos me'erev Shabbos, kegon milah atzma. If it couldn't have been done from Erev Shabbos, like the milah itself, she'i efshar la le'asos, it couldn't have been done Dezmana biyom hashmini, because the date, the time that it's supposed to be is on the 8th day, docha Shabbos. That is docha Shabbos. So you have here a machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva, whether the machshirei milah, which could have been done before Shabbos, whether that's docha Shabbos or not. The Gemara says, Iboilu, they asked the following question. Time of the Rabbi Eliezer mishum chivuvei mitzvah. Is the reason of Rabbi Eliezer because the mitzvah of milah is beloved and we want to show how beloved it is? That's why we carry the izemel in public. Or maybe we carry it in public so that there shouldn't be any suspicion. People might think he's carrying something else. If he had it in a bag, what is that thing in the bag? So if he carries it in the open, people will know it's an izemel of milah. Now Rashi explains that, of course, in the case of sakana, obviously there you cannot carry it in the open because there's a danger, because there's a gezerah against bris milah. So there, for sure, the reason why you cover it through edim, there's no doubt the reason is because of chshada. You have edim to testify that what you're doing is just for milah purposes. That's not a question in the Seifa. The question is, in a situation where it's not a sakana, in a situation where you are allowed to do it in the open, do you have to do it in the open? Or no, it would be sufficient to be mechaseo al pi edim. It would be sufficient to cover it with edim. That's what the Gemara says in the next line. Lamai nafkamina. What difference does this make? Lasuye mechus al pi edim. Could you bring it covered with edim if you wanted to in a case where there was no sakana? If it's to show that the mitzvah is beloved, megula in mechusa lo, so then you could bring it in the open, but you can't cover it up. But if the reason is because of suspicion, you don't want people to suspect you of carrying on Shabbos, then you could even be brought covered with edim. The edim will be there to testify that you're not violating Shabbos. So the Gemara says, which one is it? Itmar was taught, Amar Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi says, Lo Amar Rabbi Eliezer elo lechevuvei mitzvah. Rabbi Eliezer said that you have to do it in public to show that the mitzvah is beloved, so that is the only real option. Tanya nami halcha, we have a brisa like this as well. Mevio megula, ve'ein mevio mechusa, divrei Rabbi Eliezer. You bring it in public, in the open, to show that the mitzvah is beloved. You do not bring it covered up. Amar Ravashi says, Masnisa nami deka. The Mishnah sounds like this as well, the Katani, because the Mishnah says, Uvishas hasakana nechaseu al pi edim. In a time of sakana, you cover it with witnesses. B'sakana in, shelo b'sakana lo. The implication is, in a time of sakana you do that, but if it's not a time of sakana, you don't do that. Shma amina mishum chivuvei mitzvah shma amina. You see that the reason is because to show the mitzvah is beloved, and you see that in a situation where there's no sakana, you should do it out in the open to show that the mitzvah is beloved. Tanya idach, we have another brisa which says, Mevio megula ve'ein mevio mechusa, bring it in the open and do not bring it covered up. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer, this is the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, Noagin hayu b'shas hasakana, shahayu meviin mechusa al piedim, that in times of danger the custom was to bring it covered up with witnesses. I boilu, they asked the following question, Edim de Ka'amar Ihu V'chad, when they talk about witnesses, do they mean him and another person, meaning the person carrying it and another person is sufficient? Odil Mahu Trey, or maybe you need him to be carrying it and two witnesses with him who are objective, so to speak, who are not the ones actually doing the carrying. Tashma will bring a proof. It says Uv'sakana mechaseu al pi edim. It says with edim. Yamer b'shlomahu Trey Shaber. That sounds like him and two other edim. It's plural. That makes sense. Yamer hu v'chad. But if it's him and one person, my Adam, what does it mean that he covers it with Adam? He's covering it with an aid. So the Gemara says Adam could mean Sheruyim Lahayid b'makam acher. Maybe Adam means in a theoretical situation there's a total of two, him and another that could have been Adam in some other scenario. Obviously in this scenario he's not an aid because he's the one doing the actual activity. But it means that he would be he along with the other person could be two Adam in some other case of testimony. V'yod Amar Rabbi Eliezer, then the Mishnah said that Rabbi Eliezer said further, you're even allowed to cut the wood in order to make the coals, in order to shape the metal to make the izemel for Mila. Taner Rabban, we learned in a brayso b'mekomo shel Rabbi Eliezer, hayikorsim eitzim lasos bechamin lasos barzel b'Shabbos. In the place of Rabbi Eliezer, they used to do this. They would cut wood to create the coals, to make the iron, to make the metal on Shabbos in order to have the izemel for Mila. B'mekomo shel Rabbi Yossi HaGlili, and in the place of Rabbi Yossi HaGlili, hayu ochlin besar of b'cholav. They permitted people to eat chicken with milk. The prohibition of basar b'cholav did not apply to chicken. Levi ikla levei Yosef Rishba. Levi went to the house of Yosef Rishba. Rishba means he was somebody who used to hunt birds. Krivu le reisha de tavasa. They brought him the head of a peacock, bechelba, and it was in milk. So it was chicken, it was bird and milk. Lo achal, he wouldn't eat it. Kiyasal kami de Rebbe, when he came in front of Rebbe, Amar le said, Amai lo sashmetinu. Why didn't you put him into chayrim? They're violating an isser. Okay, you didn't eat it, but you should put him into chayrim. Amar le said, Asrei de Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira was the location of Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Ve'amina dil madarish look Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. And I said to myself, maybe Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira darshans in the same fashion as Rabbi Yossi HaGlili, that they permit bird with milk. To Tanan, because we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi HaGlili Omer, Rabbi Yossi HaGlili says, Nemar lo sochlu kol nevela. It says, don't eat nevela. V'nemar, and then it says right after, lo savash al gadiv achalev imo. Don't cook a goat in its mother's milk. So we darshan as she'asr misham nevela asr levashel b'chalav. That which is asr as nevela, that you need to do a proper shchita on it, that's what counts in the isser of basar b'chalav. So you might have thought, of she'asr misham nevela, that of there is a prohibition of nevela, you need to shech the bird. Yachol ye'asr levashel b'chalav. Maybe that also should be asr in milk. Talmud lo omar. So Rabbi Yossi HaGlili says that the pasuk says b'chalev imo, in the milk of its mother, yatsa of she'ein lo chalav aim. That excludes a bird, because birds do not give milk. The mother birds do not give milk to their children, and therefore a bird is not included in the prohibition of basar b'chalav. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, Irachas haisu be'Eretz Yisrael. There was one city in Eretz Yisrael, Shayu Osin Rabbi Eliezer, that they followed Rabbi Eliezer's opinion in terms of bris milah. V'hayu mesim bismanim, they died in their proper time. Not only that, Gozra Malchus Harisha Gezeira al Yisrael al Milah. There was once a time where the wicked government made a decree against Milah. In that particular city, there was no Gezeira, because to show that Rabbi Eliezer's opinion is in fact correct. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Tanya, we learned in a brayser. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, Rav Shimon Gamliel says, Kol mitzvah shekivlu aleim b'simcha, any mitzvah that Klal Yisrael accepted with joy, could go in Milah, for example, in Milah, Tichsiv, because the pasuk says, Sas anochi alim rasecha kemotze shalol rav. I rejoice over your mitzvahs as if I found a great amount of money, a great amount of loot. So what does this have to do with Milah? How do you know that's talking about Milah? Rashi says, Amira yechida shekidma l'shar amiros. I was happy about your instruction, your mitzvahs. We're talking about the mitzvah that came before the other mitzvahs. Vihi Milah, that refers to Milah. She Yisrael osin v'sasim alea dechol shar mitzvahs einon mochichos kol shah. The idea Rashi says is that Klal Yisrael is happy about it because all other mitzvahs you can't do them at every moment. You can go in tefillin, mezuzah, v'tzitzis, de'enan keshu b'sadeh, v'arim b'bayis. When it comes to tefillin, mezuzah, tzitzis, you don't do them in the field, you don't do them when you're naked in the house, v'arim b'veis hamerchatz, you don't do them when you're naked, sorry, in the bathhouse. Avalzu meir aleim liolam, but this you can always do. Kedamina b'menachos b'David shara atzma v'veis hamerchatz v'nitztar. The Gemara Menacha says David saw himself in the bathhouse and he was in pain. Amar oy li shani order mikol mitzvahs. He said, I'm naked from all mitzvahs. I'm not doing any mitzvahs right now. Kevan shenistakal b'mila. When he looked at the mila, nisyash v'daito, his mind was settled. So the idea is that this was a mitzvah that people accepted b'simcha. So anything like that, adayin osan osa b'simcha. We still do it b'simcha. Rashi says, what does that mean? B'simcha she'osan mishta, we make a feast. When we have, by bris milah, we make a special seudas mitzvah. V'chol mitzvah shekiblu aleim b'ketata. And any mitzvah that they accepted upon themselves b'ketata, but there was fighting about it, could go in arayos, for example, the prohibition against arayos. T'chsiv vayishma Moshe sa'am bochel mishpachosav. It says that Moshe heard the nation crying to its families, and the Gemara darshans al iskei mishpachosav. They were crying about the issue that was family related, meaning that they weren't allowed to marry their relatives. They were crying about the isser of arayas. So adayin osan osa b'ketata. They still fulfill it with argument. Teleka ksuba to lo rama batigra, because you will never find a ksuba when people get married. You never find a ksuba where there's not some argument involved. The reason is because since they accepted it b'ketata, that's why it continues to be performed b'ketata. Tanya, we learned in a brayser of Shimon Elazar. Omer of Shimon Elazar says, "Kol mitzvah shemasr Yisrael atzman aleim lemisa b'shas gezeres hamalchus." Any mitzvah that Klal Yisrael gave themselves over, even willing to be put to death at a time when a government was making a decree against it. Kagon avodas kol chavim umila. For example, when it comes to idol worship and when it comes to bris milah, they're willing to give up their lives for it. Adayin him uchzekes biyadam. Such mitzvahs are still strong in their hands. But any mitzvah which Klal Yisrael didn't give themselves over, they weren't willing to sacrifice their lives. B'shas kazeres hamalchus, at a time when the government decreed, could go in tefillin. An example of that is tefillin. Adayin hi merufa biyadim. It's still weak in their hands. It's still not something that they keep with strength. Because Rav Yanai said by tefillin you need to have a clean body, like Elisha Baal Kanafayim. The implication is not everybody does it. Not everyone is careful. Only Elisha was a person who was careful. Ma'hi, what does it mean, a clean body for tefillin? Amar Abaye shelo yafiach behem. Abaye says you shouldn't pass gas with tefillin. Rav Amar shelo yishan behem. Rav says it means you shouldn't fall asleep in tefillin. V'amai karu le Elisha Baal Kanafayim. Now why was this Elisha who was careful about tefillin? Why was he called Baal Kanafayim, the person with wings? Shepam achas gazra malchus harisha gezer al Yisrael. There was one time when the wicked government made a decree against the Jews. Shekala meinech tefillin al rosho yikru esmochu, that anybody who would wear tefillin on his head, his skull would be pierced, he would be killed. V'haya Elisha meinech tefillin v'yatza l'shuk. And Elisha wore tefillin nonetheless. He went out to the marketplace. V'ra'o kaster echon, and a certain government official saw him. V'ratz milafanov, he ran away from him. V'ratz achrav, and the official ran after him. Kevan shegi etzla, when he reached him, natlan meirosho v'achsan v'yado. He took the tefillin from his hand. He took the tefillin off his head. Elisha took the tefillin off his head and put him in his hands. Amar le'in, the official said, Ma b'yadcha, what's in your hand? Amar lo, he said to him, kan feyon, it's the wings of a dove. Pashat es yado v'nimtzu ba kan feyon. He opened his hand, and it turned out there was the wings of a dove. Lafika chayukor no so Baal Kanafayim. For that reason, we call him Elisha Baal Kanafayim. Maishna kan feyona. Now, why of all things was it the wings of a dove? Diamar le v'lo amar le sharofos. Why say that bird and not other birds? Mishum dedamya knesses Yisrael liyona. The reason is because Klal Yisrael is compared to a dove. Shenemar, because it says kan feyona nechba v'kesef evroseb yirakra chorutz. Ma yona, just like a dove. Ma yona zu, just like this dove. Kinafeha meginos aleh. Its wings are what protects it. Rashi says a dove does not fight with its beak; it fights with its wings. Af Yisrael mitzvos meginos aleim. So too, when it comes to Klal Yisrael, the mitzvos protect them. That is what protects them, just like the wings of a dove. Now, the simple meaning of this pasuk of kan feyona nechba b'kesef is that even in times of exile, even in times of darkness, Klal Yisrael retains its beauty, like the kan feyona that's nechba b'kesef, that's as if it's covered in silver. Gemara continues at the two dots. Amar Rav Abba bar Rav Ada, Amar Rav Yitzchak. Rav Abba bar Rav Ada says in the name of Rav Yitzchak, Pamachas shachu v'lo hiviu ezemel me'erev Shabbos. There was one time when they forgot and they didn't bring the izemel from Erev Shabbos, ve'viyu b'Shabbos derech gagos v'derech chatzeros, and they brought it on Shabbos by way of the roofs in the courtyards. And the Gemara will continue with this statement on Daf Kuf Lamed Amud Beis, and we'll see that in the next video.